Commander Zara Voss pressed her palm against the ancient stone tablet, feeling the vibrations of dead civilizations echo through her fingertips. The excavation site on Kepler, 442b, had been quiet for 3 months, but today, something felt different. Something felt wrong. "Ma'am, you need to see this," called out Dr. Marcus Chen from across the dig site. His voice carried that particular tremor she'd learned to recognize after 15 years of xenoarchaeology. Fear mixed with wonder. Zara walked over, her boots crunching on the crystalline sand that covered this forsaken world. Marcus stood beside a freshly uncovered wall, his face pale as moonlight. The hieroglyphs carved into the surface glowed with a faint blue luminescence that pulsed like a dying heartbeat. "Tell me what I'm looking at, Doc," Zara said, though something deep in her gut already knew this discovery would change everything. Marcus ran his scanner over the symbols, his hands shaking slightly. "These aren't random carvings. They're warnings. All of them. Every single symbol on this wall is a warning about the same thing, which is Earth." Zara felt her blood turn to ice water. "Come again?" "The translation is rough, but the message is clear. The civilization, the Vrathri, they left a warning about humanity, about our home planet." Marcus pointed to a section of the wall where the symbols seemed to burn brighter than the rest. "Here, it says, 'The blue world sleeps in the third system from its star. Do not wake it. Do not approach it. The children of Terra are not what they seem.'" A bitter laugh escaped Zara's throat. "Well, that's comforting. Our first contact with an alien civilization, and they're telling the universe to stay away from us." "Commander, there's more." Marcus moved to another section of the wall. "Much more. The Vrathri weren't the only ones who left warnings. Look at this." The symbols changed, becoming more angular, more geometric. The blue glow shifted to a deep red that made Zara's eyes water. The Kalari civilization, dead for 12,000 years. Their warning reads, "We approached the third world with peaceful intentions. We sent diplomats. We sent scientists. We sent warriors. None returned. The humans smile while they sharpen their teeth." Zara's mouth went dry. "Keep reading." Marcus's voice grew steadier, but his words carried the weight of cosmic dread. "The Nexari left this one. They call themselves human. They build monuments to peace while perfecting weapons of war. They speak of love while practicing genocide. Earth sleeps, but its children dream of conquest." "This is insane," Zara muttered, but even as she said it, memories began surfacing. Memories she'd tried to bury. The massacre at New Geneva. The systematic extermination of the mining guild rebels. The way human colonists had dealt with the indigenous life forms on 17 different worlds. There are dozens more, Commander. The Vakari, the Volden, the Primorans, every dead civilization in this sector left warnings about humanity. They all say the same thing in different ways. Marcus looked up from his scanner, his eyes reflecting the alien glow. "We're the monsters, Zara. In every story, in every warning, we're the monsters." Zara walked to the center of the chamber, her mind racing. The walls were covered in warnings, layer upon layer of them. Civilizations that had died millennia ago, all united in their fear of one small blue planet in an unremarkable star system. "How many species?" she asked quietly. 47 confirmed. Possibly more as we uncover additional sections. 47 civilizations, all extinct, all warning the universe about us. Zara let out a laugh that held no humor. "You have to appreciate the irony. We spend centuries searching for proof that we're not alone in the universe. And when we finally find it, they're all screaming at each other to run away from us." Marcus approached her cautiously. "Commander, what do we do with this information? What do you think we should do, Doc?" "Report it. Let the Colonial Council decide." "Oh, that's rich." Zara's voice dripped with sarcasm. "Let's tell the same people who authorized the cleansing of Rigel 7 that the entire galaxy thinks we're space Nazis. I'm sure they'll handle that news with their characteristic wisdom and restraint." A new voice echoed through the chamber. "Actually, Commander Voss, we already know." Zara spun around to find Admiral Katrina Hayes standing in the entrance, flanked by 6 armed Marines. The Admiral's presence here, light years from any military installation, sent alarm bells screaming through Zara's mind. Know what exactly? Zara asked, her hand instinctively moving toward her sidearm. About the warnings. About our reputation. About why 47 civilizations chose extinction over coexistence with humanity. Admiral Hayes stepped into the chamber, her metals catching the alien light. Did you really think this was the first site we'd found? The first set of warnings we'd uncovered? Marcus backed against the wall, his scanner clattering to the ground. How many others? 312 confirmed sites. 68 different species. All saying the same thing. The Admiral's smile was as cold as space itself. Humans are the thing that goes bump in the cosmic night. And you've kept this secret because... Zara's voice was steady, but her mind was calculating distances, angles, possibilities. Because it's true. Admiral Hayes gestured to the walls around them. Every word of it. We are the monsters they feared. We are the apex predators of this galaxy. And do you know what the beautiful part is? Zara waited. We're just getting started. The Admiral nodded to her Marines, who raised their weapons. Dr. Chen, your archaeological expertise is no longer required. Commander Voss, your ship and crew will be reassigned to Operation Nightfall. Never heard of it, Zara said. Of course not. It's classified at the highest levels. But since you've stumbled onto our little secret here, you get to be part of something historic. The Admiral's eyes gleamed with fanatic fervor. The systematic conquest of every habitable world within 50 light-years of Earth. Marcus found his voice. You can't be serious. Genocide on that scale? Oh, we're not planning genocide, Doctor. We're planning something much more elegant. Admiral Hayes touched one of the warning symbols on the wall. We're going to do exactly what these dead civilizations feared we would do. We're going to smile, extend our hands in friendship, and then take everything they have. While they're still alive to watch, Zara said, understanding dawning like a poisonous sunrise. Exactly. Slavery is so much more efficient than extinction. Why waste good labor? The chamber fell silent, except for the steady pulse of the alien warnings. Zara looked at the walls, at the desperate messages left by dozens of species who had seen humanity coming and tried to warn the universe. They had all failed to stop what was coming. They had all died trying. But maybe, just maybe, someone else would listen. You know what I find fascinating about these warnings? Zara said conversationally. Enlighten me. They all assume Earth is sleeping, that humanity is dormant, waiting to be awakened. Zara smiled, and for the first time in years, it was genuine. But what if they were wrong about that part? Admiral Hayes frowned. What do you mean? What if Earth isn't sleeping? What if Earth is hunting? The Admiral's frown deepened. Commander, you're not making sense. Zara's smile widened. Think about it. 47 dead civilizations, all advanced enough for interstellar travel, all mysteriously extinct. What if they didn't die from natural causes? What if something hunted them down, one by one, leaving only their warnings behind? That's impossible. Humanity only achieved interstellar flight 50 years ago. Did we? Zara asked. Or is that just what we want everyone to believe? Admiral Hayes took a step back. You're talking nonsense. Am I? Tell me, Admiral, how do we advance so quickly from chemical rockets to faster-than-light travel? How do we solve energy crises that had plagued us for centuries? How do we develop terraforming technology that works better than anything these ancient civilizations ever managed? Scientific breakthrough, innovation, human ingenuity. Zara laughed, and this time the sound echoed off the walls like thunder. Human ingenuity. Right. We went from burning fossil fuels to manipulating space-time in less than a century. Either we're the most brilliant species in the galaxy, or we had help. Help from whom? From our victims. Zara gestured to walls. Every piece of technology we've developed, every scientific breakthrough we've achieved, it all came from studying alien artifacts. Artifacts we found on worlds where the previous inhabitants had mysteriously vanished. The Marines shifted nervously, their weapons wavering. Admiral Hayes looked less certain than she had moments before. You're suggesting that humanity has been conducting a secret war of extermination for centuries? I'm suggesting that these warnings aren't about what we might do, Zara said. They're about what we've already done. Earth doesn't sleep, Admiral. Earth feeds. And every dead civilization in this galaxy is proof of our appetite. Marcus spoke up from his position against the wall. The dating on these warnings, some of them go back thousands of years, before humans even had written language. Exactly, Zara said, which means either time travel is involved, or humanity is much older than we've been led to believe. Admiral Hayes raised her weapon. That's enough. Both of you are coming with us. This conversation ends now. Does it? Zara asked, because I'm starting to think this conversation is just beginning. After all, if what I'm suggesting is true, then you're not really Admiral Hayes, are you? The thing wearing Admiral Hayes' face hesitated for just a moment. But a moment was all Zara needed. The lights went out. Hashtag every dead race left one warning. Earth only pretends to sleep, Part 2. In the absolute darkness of the alien chamber, Zara moved like death itself. 15 years of military training kicked in as she rolled behind a fallen stone pillar, her enhanced combat implants automatically switching to infrared vision. The fake Admiral Hayes and her Marines were scrambling, their weapons firing blindly into the shadows. Emergency lighting now! The Hayes thing shouted, its voice carrying harmonics that no human throat could produce. Too late. Zara was already moving. The first Marine went down silently, Zara's vibroblade finding the gap between his helmet and body armor. The second managed half a scream before her garrote cut off his windpipe. By the time the emergency lights flickered on, 2 of the 6 were already dead. Impossible, the Hayes creature hissed. Human reflexes aren't that fast. Zara stepped into the light, blood dripping from her blade. You're right, they aren't. The remaining Marines opened fire, their plasma bolts turning chunks of ancient stone into molten slag. But Zara wasn't where they were aiming. She was everywhere and nowhere, moving with a fluid grace that defied physics. What are you? The Hayes thing demanded as another Marine collapsed, his throat open like a second mouth. I'm human, Zara said, appearing behind the 4th Marine. Her blade slid between his ribs like a lover's whisper. The question is, were you? Dr. Chen pressed himself against the wall, watching in horror as Zara dismantled the remaining opposition with surgical precision. This wasn't the woman he'd worked with for 3 years. This was something else entirely. Something predatory. The last 2 Marines tried to retreat, but the chamber's entrance had sealed itself. They were trapped with whatever Zara had become. Please, one of them begged. We're just following orders. Zara tilted her head, studying him like a specimen. Orders from what? From whom? She gestured to the Hayes creature. That thing stopped being human the moment it walked in here. Just like you stopped being human the moment you chose to serve it. We are human, the Marine protested. Are you? Zara asked, when was the last time you felt fear? Real primal, gut-churning terror? When was the last time you wondered if you were alone in the dark? The Marine's face went pale. I don't. You don't remember? Zara finished. Because they took that from you. They took your humanity and replaced it with something else. Something compliant. Something useful. She moved again and the Marine fell. The last one raised his weapon, but his hands were shaking too badly to aim. Don't, he whispered. Please don't. There it is, Zara said with satisfaction. Fear, the most human emotion of all. Congratulations, soldier. You just remember what you really are. She spared him, instead turning her attention to the Hayes creature. It stood in the center of the chamber, no longer bothering to maintain its human facade. Its skin rippled and shifted, revealing glimpses of something crystalline beneath. Fascinating, it said in a voice like grinding glass. A genuine human. We thought your species was extinct. Sorry to disappoint you, Zara said, but reports of our extinction have been greatly exaggerated. The last true human died 3 centuries ago. We made sure of that. Zara laughed, the sound echoing off the warning-covered walls. Did you? Or did you just think you did? Tell me, how many humans have you replaced? How many of our leaders, our scientists, our military commanders? All of them, the creature said proudly. Every position of authority, every seat of power. Humanity is ours now. Except you missed a few, didn't you? Zara circled the creature, her blade never wavering. You missed the ones who were already out here, in the deep dark, reading the warnings your predecessors left behind. Dr. Chen found his voice. Zara, what's happening? What are these things? Parasites, document. The same species that's been feeding on galactic civilization for millennia. They take over a race, use their technology and resources to expand, then move on to the next target when they consumed everything useful. The creature's form solidified into something vaguely humanoid but wrong in every detail. You understand more than we anticipated. Yes, we're the Devourers. We have consumed 47 civilizations, and now we wear their faces like masks. Earth was simply the latest acquisition. Was, Zara emphasized. Past tense. Interesting choice of words. Your resistance is meaningless. Even if you escape this chamber, even if you warn the remaining human colonies, it changes nothing. We control your governments, your militaries, your communication networks. Who would believe you? Zara's smile was sharp enough to cut steel. Nobody, which is exactly why I'm not planning to warn anyone. Then what? I'm planning to hunt. She moved faster than the creature could react, her blade finding its center mass. The thing screamed, a sound like dying stars, as its crystalline form began to crack and crumble. Impossible, it gasped. Our shells are impervious to conventional weapons. This isn't a conventional weapon, Zara said, twisting the blade. It's made from the same metal as the warning tablets, the same metal your predecessors learned to fear. The creature looked down at the blade embedded in its chest, understanding dawning in its faceted eyes. You've been preparing. Waiting. How long? Long enough. Zara pulled the blade free, watching as the creature collapsed into dust. Long enough to learn what you really are. Long enough to prepare for this moment. Dr. Chen stared at her in shock. You knew what they were before we ever found this chamber. I suspected. The warnings we've been finding. The pattern of dead civilizations, the way human technology advanced so rapidly after each archaeological discovery. It all pointed to the same conclusion. Zara cleaned her blade on the surviving Marine's uniform. Humanity didn't conquer the galaxy through superior firepower or brilliant strategy. We did it through patience. I don't understand. Think about it. Document. Every species we've encountered left warnings about us. Not about what we might become, but about what we already were. The Devourers have been using humanity as their primary host species for thousands of years, maybe longer. Zara walked to the wall of warnings, running her fingers over the alien symbols. But here's the thing about parasites. They think they're in control, but they're not. They're just along for the ride. What do you mean? I mean humanity has been playing dead for millennia, letting these things think they've won while we learned everything about them. Their weaknesses, their technology, their plans. Zara's eyes gleamed in the alien light. And now it's time to collect on that investment. She pressed her palm against one of the warning symbols, and the entire chamber began to vibrate. The walls themselves seemed to come alive, the warnings pulsing with increasing intensity. What's happening? Dr. Chen demanded. I'm sending a message, Zara said, to every remaining human in the galaxy. The real humans, the ones who've been waiting for the signal. The surviving Marine looked up at her with dawning horror. There are more of you? Oh, soldier, Zara said with a predatory grin. There are thousands of us, hidden among the colonies, embedded in the military, working in the deepest levels of scientific research. We've been preparing for this day for generations. The chamber's vibrations increased, becoming almost unbearable. Dr. Chen fell to his knees, clutching his head. Make it stop. It's not for you, document. It's for them. Zara pointed to the ceiling, where the sound waves were penetrating through rock and metal, broadcasting into space itself. It's a wake-up call. The Marine tried to stand, his face twisted with pain. Wake-up call for what? For Earth. The word hung in the air like a death sentence. Even as Zara spoke it, She could feel the response beginning. Somewhere impossibly far away, something vast and ancient was stirring. Something that had been pretending to sleep for far too long. The warnings were right about one thing. Zara continued conversationally. Earth does sleep, but not the way they thought. Earth sleeps the way a spider sleeps in its web. Perfectly still, perfectly patient, until something struggles in the strands. Dr. Chen looked up at her, with eyes full of terror. What have you done? What needed to be done? The Devourers thought they were using humanity as their host species. They thought they were in control. But they made one critical error, which was, they assumed that being a host meant being helpless. Zara's smile was cold and bright and terrible. They never considered that maybe, just maybe, we were the ones using them. The chamber's vibrations reached a crescendo and then suddenly stopped. In the silence that followed, they could all hear it. A sound like breathing, but vast beyond comprehension. The sound of something enormous drawing breath for the first time in millennia. Earth is waking up, Zara said softly. And she's hungry. Through the chamber ceiling, they could see the stars beginning to shift, not moving in their courses, but changing color. One by one, the point of light in the alien sky were turning from white to blue to red, as if something was consuming their very essence. My God, Dr. Chen whispered. What is Earth? Earth is the trap, Zara said. The perfect predator disguised as prey. For thousands of years, we've let species after species think they were conquering us, colonizing us, using us. And all the while, we were learning, growing, spreading. The surviving Marine tried to run, but his legs wouldn't obey him. The sound from the walls had done something to his nervous system, paralyzed him from the waist down. Every world humanity has touched, every colony we've established, every archaeological dig we've conducted, Zara continued. We weren't exploring. We were planting seeds. More stars were changing color now, entire constellations shifting from white to crimson. The process was accelerating. Seeds of what? Dr. Chen asked, though part of him already knew he didn't want to hear the answer. Seeds of Earth. Seeds of us. Zara touched the wall one final time, and the warnings began to fade. The Devourers were right about humanity being monsters. They just didn't understand what kind of monsters we really are. The chamber began to collapse around them, but Zara made no move to flee. She stood perfectly still, watching the stars die one by one. We're not conquerors, she said as the ceiling began to crack. We're not warriors or explorers or any of the things the textbooks claim. We're gardeners. Gardeners. We plant ourselves in suitable soil. We wait. We grow. And when we're ready, we harvest everything that was foolish enough to take root alongside us. The last of the stars went dark, and in that absolute blackness, something immense began to move. Something that had been sleeping in the spaces between worlds, dreaming patient dreams of cultivation and consumption. Every dead race left one warning, Zara said as the darkness closed in around them. But they all missed the most important part, which was, Earth never sleeps. Earth only pretends to sleep. The chamber collapsed completely, burying the warnings of 47 dead civilizations beneath tons of alien stone. But the message had already been sent. The signal had already been received. Across the galaxy, on 1,000 different worlds, things that had been masquerading as human began to remember what they really were. And in the deep dark between the stars, something vast and patient and utterly inhuman began to stretch its tendrils toward every point of light that still dared to shine. The harvest was beginning, and Earth was very, very hungry.